All right. Welcome to week 2 of Mastering Volumes with Urban Forex. Now, you've probably gone through week 1 and I've sort of given you a little curiosity bug of what to expect coming up. And had you do these homeworks of watch how the volume develops as you're going through and see how does the volume react with certain movements and certain prices. And I'm sure 9 out of 10 of you guys are going to be focusing on these things, right? Either certain spikes or very, very low volumes, right? Because that's what the eye focuses on. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to change the way you look at volumes completely. So if that was the way you were interpreting it and thinking maybe that has some value or something like that, you're partially there, and that's okay, because whatever you were thinking this past 1 week trying to build up to this knowledge, I'm going to help you cement it a bit more, okay? And I'm going to show you where volumes come in handy, and more importantly, why they come in handy, okay? Always the why. Always the why. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So in this particular case, we're looking at a chart that's for 60 minutes. Now, when it comes to volume, you want to focus on 2 main things, okay? 2 main things. You want to focus on congestions, okay? Boom, looks like that. Let me change this to a mouse so you can see it. You want to focus on congestions, okay? Ranges, triangles, channels. So congestions can look like that. They can look like little triangles like that, where the prices are just bouncing inside of them like that. They can also look like channels where the prices are just slightly hovering a little bit higher high. Okay, that is one thing. And the other thing is the high and the low of yesterday. Okay, now this is a very important piece also. Okay, not always do you need to break out of a range or a congestion, but we also want to monitor the high and low of yesterday. Okay, because when the larger players are focusing on certain things, they're watching important areas to be broken, right? And an important area is the highest point of yesterday and the lowest point of yesterday. Okay, they really like to watch these things as well to see, are we making brand new highs? Because a new higher high sets off the motion of buy, 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 buy. Everyone needs to buy, and that's kind of good. All we need to know is there purpose behind it? If there is purpose behind it, then we want to be one of those buy, 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 right? Okay, so let's take a look at certain examples here. So your focus going forward now is going to be on things like this. Okay, you see this congestion here? Followed by a break, and that break needs to have increased volume compared to the congestion. So let's take the lines down. Okay, let's take the lines down. Boom, right there and right there. So you can get an idea of, okay, that's the volume of the congestion, right? And then as we break out of the volume and start to make higher highs, look at the increase in volume. Now, I am not interested in just one little candle. I'm interested in seeing a series of increase in volume. Now, there's a few things to touch point on this. You're never going to get, as the prices go higher, you're not supposed to get higher and higher and higher and higher and higher volume. Okay? Okay, obviously my voice is getting higher and higher also. Sorry about that. But you're not going to get that. It's quite normal to have volume almost decreasing, but still at every break you want to see a surge in volume again. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more. So let's talk about what is important and what is not. Okay, so this one you can see is important because it had a lull in the market followed by a break, which was pretty healthy. This tells you there is a larger player behind this break. And not to mention, if this is yesterday, from here to here, Okay, this date is one full day, right? If that is yesterday, isn't this the highest point also of yesterday, and this is the lowest point of yesterday? It doesn't matter if it's a range or not. The fact that we broke this range and we broke the high of yesterday with an increase in volume tells you the intentions of the larger player. Had your aha moment yet? Okay, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. We're going to take this nice and slow. I know you're probably like really looking forward to get to your charts and just tear it apart. Slow it down. We got a lot more to go. So piece by piece. Okay? Our goal here is to look for the intention of the larger player. Why does this happen? Now think about it. Think about it. Why do you get an increase in volume for these things? Okay? Because when the larger player is buying a lot, okay, when he's buying a lot, he offsets the market. Okay, he offsets the market and prices just shoot up a lot. Okay? The fact that prices shoot up a lot means he's most likely looking to stay. He's most likely looking to stay. He has access to certain type of information that tells him, keep buying. Okay? Keep buying, and that's propelling prices higher. And if he doesn't buy, the rest of the world, big funds, the banks, they're going to keep buying, so it's going to drive prices higher. So between their competitions amongst each other, they have no choice but to buy it, and they're battling for the best price. Okay? And now you're going to be one of them. You're going to battle for the best price. That's your job, right? You're basically now this elite shopper, if you want to call it like that. You're just like this guy who's just going on every single day. You turn on your computer and you're like, come on, give me a good deal. You're just shopping day and night. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And women watching this course, you're going to love this. If you just put it into that perspective, you're going to love it. I'm not saying women love shopping and men don't. Men who love shopping, you're going to love this too. Okay? You're absolutely going to love this because the logic is the same as normal economy, right? People want to go out and buy, and when there's a decent price and the demand is high, they want to buy more, right? So same concepts here. Okay, so let's take a look at a few examples in this. All right, as the market, okay, so let's take a look at this on the next day. So let's say this is one of the days here, right? That's one full day there. So that means if I say that's the lowest point of that day, and that's the highest point of that day. Now we have another thing right here. Do you see this little congestion here? Okay, there's one there, and then there's a little teeny one there. Okay, we want it to be a decent enough congestion. Here's why. The longer the congestion and the stronger the break with volume, the longer the momentum is going to hold. Okay, think about that again. Write it down if you have to. Okay, don't tattoo it on your arm, but just write it down. The longer the range and the harder the break, the longer it's going to sustain. The smaller the range and the smaller the break, even though it has higher volume, it's probably not going to travel very far. Okay, because they weren't able to get very good prices. Okay, so keep that logic in mind. So in this particular case, we never broke the high and low of yesterday, so that there's nothing there for that. But then there were some ranges here. Okay, if you want to call this like a sort of, there's a range there, and then that range does nothing. Boom, boom, boom. And one more. There we go. So there's a very low there. There's, nothing happening. It's dead. Okay, and then the market pulls out. Still, it's very low. Okay, when I say very low, this is when your MAs come into handy. Okay, you see this little blue MA I have? Some of you guys might have it as red. This is that 20 period of MA that we put in there. Again, you could choose a different number based on if you want one full day. Since this is a 60-minute chart, I can make the MAs 24 to represent one full day, so it can look at 24 candles that represent 24 hours. Then it can look at one full day. But what I'm trying to do is I can see that volume okay, is higher. Okay, that volume here on the break is higher than the range, but it's not a normal volume if I compare to all of this stuff. It's not high enough to say, okay, somebody is here. Okay, I don't want just one company buying and selling. I want the world buying and selling. I want to know where the big money is just pressing the gas and saying, I want this badly. Okay? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to watch for the characteristics of the big boy. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. Now the next one also has a little lull here. Okay? And then we have, let me put lines there. Boom. Right there. And right there. Okay. It's dead in there also. But then when the break happens, whoa, increase in volume. Now this volume is not small like the other one. This is pretty comparable and it's above my blue MA and everything. Basically it's telling you this has purpose. This has purpose. It's not just anybody. This has purpose. You know, he's important. Okay? So when this goes up, this becomes a more valid move. Okay? It's a more valid move. Okay? We'll get into everything of what to do with it a little bit later. A little bit later. Right now, what we need to know is what is important and what is not. Okay? So this was the one when it comes to ranges. Okay? Now, let's take a look at some example when it comes to breaking the highs and the lows. Okay?